Sims Davison spent the last 3 years driving Mapperley Stud forward. This season, he's added a stallion to his boutique operation. Kiwi Bred caught up with Sims to take a look at his newest addition, Pentire's stakes performing son, He's Remarkable. Sims, you're a third generation Davison to run Mapperley. You've gone away and followed another career path, playing for the Waikato Chiefs. How did you know the time was right to return?
It was actually made reasonably easy. The old body had started to fail me for a little while there. Had gone away to France and sort of taken up a contract there for my last few years. As a result of sort of a bad back injury, I had to sort of go and undergo surgery. So it was sort of a point where I thought, well, you know, if we can go through with the surgery and get back into playing footy after that, it's a bit of a long sort of path. So it worked out perfectly. You know, I'd obviously always been very interested in the horses and followed them all the way through. So it just worked out right that it was sort of the right time for me to retire while I was still in one piece.
And what were your goals when you took over the reins from your father, Mark?
I mean, the farm's always had a very proud history of producing sort of top horses. So, I mean, my first goal was, you know, to continue to market Mapperley as a boutique, you know, adjustment farm with the ability to produce these top Group 1 winning horses. So that was my main goal, was just to carry on making sure Mapperley was at the top of producing racehorses. The next step was to take on a stallion, and I'd spoken to a lot of people in the industry about it. It was always it's something I wanted to do, and I just thought that was the next stepping stone, really.
A man instrumental in getting He's Remarkable to Mapperley was Gary Chittick from Waikato Stud. How does the business partnership between you and Gary work?
It's really straightforward, really. It's just done on a handshake and goodwill, and we both went out and bought the horse. We own 50% of it each, and it's standing at Mapperley, and he's just my sort of, well, I wouldn't say silent business partner. He's very much very much talk to him about the horse and the way to go with him. So no, it's just a friendship that's built on that's worked well in the partnership, and it's only the start of it, and hopefully we can carry on.
Re-establishing Mapperley in the stallion market, why is that so important to you personally?
I suppose because as far as Mapperley where it was a boutique adjustment farm, I sort of knew where my limits were. I knew if I had X amount of horses on and I produced X amount of horses, you sort of knew where I was going. I suppose you throw in a stallion there and it produces a whole different league, like if you want to start to go forward, I mean, all studs when they started, you need that stallion to take you there to the next level. So it was important, if I wanted Mapperley to continue to move forward, that the only way it was going to take was by getting a stallion. And I suppose in 3 years' time we'll find out whether it was a good idea or not. But we're very happy with him here, and I think he's going to go very well, over our mares.
As a sire, what was the appeal of He's Remarkable?
I mean, the very first thing that I was looking for a horse is that he had to, before anything else, he had to be a very good-looking horse, and Roger James bought He's Remarkable. He spent $360,000 on him as a yearling. He was a top Pentire colt sold that year. He was 100% correct, and he was just a beautiful looking animal. And that was the very first thing. Before anything else, I had to be proud of walking a horse out of the box that I knew it was going to be a standout as far as type went. To give all his progeny the biggest success at stud. Second of all, he obviously had to have that really good turn of foot, and I mean that's one thing about He's Remarkable. He showed that all the way through his big races. He had that great turn of foot, and had to be obviously a serious racehorse. And He's Remarkable. He's probably one of the most unluckiest horses around. He was second to Jimmy Shear in the 2000 Guineas, where the jockey dropped the whip, 800 out, and he still finished second. He then obviously in Australia as well when he got relegated in the Group 1 there to second place. So he'd showed me enough. Obviously he won a Group 3 and was second in a couple of other Group 2s in Australia. So he had that good Australian form as well. He had that great turn of foot. It's probably worked out as an advantage of him as he's not getting relegated in that Group 1 over in Australia, because it's probably something I didn't probably underestimate, is how well known he was over there and how much of a big uproar was it with the Australian punters. So it sort of worked in my favour. And I suppose the other thing is, if he had won those Group 1s, he probably wouldn't be standing at Mapperley Stud, because I probably couldn't afford him. So it sort of worked out that it sort of benefited us all, really.
Trainer Roger James described him as having a great attitude. Is that carried over into the breeding barn?
Definitely. He definitely knows what he's doing. He's very much enjoying his new job. In fact, he's been so much enjoying. We've had to take him for a few test dummies through the ring just to calm him down a little bit, to let him know that not every time he walks out the side of the box he's going to be throwing the old leg over. So no, he's he's really enjoying himself, and as we saw him earlier on, getting paraded by Karen, who's a female who has no problems handling him, so he's still got that good nature as well.
Let's talk about his pedigree by Pentai out of Zabeel mare Axiom. Why is it so commercial?
Well, there's no secret that Zabeel Pentai cross has worked very well, and you throw in Centane there as well. When a lot of people say the horse he's remarkable, reminds them a lot of Centane, but he's definitely got that Zabeel blood in there as well. It stretched him out, given him a bit of leg and scope. It's all a very good looking family. Axiom, the mother, she's a beautiful looking Zabeel mare, and so I think it's a good looking family, and it's full of runners all the way through as well. So I think it's going to be very exciting having being the only son of Pentai at stud. It's giving breeders a lot of options.
And Sims, on pedigree, what type of mare do you feel will cross well with him?
He'll go well over a large range of mares. I think the first and the foremost thing is that he's going to tidy up a lot of mares, especially if they're not that flash on type, a little bit plain. He has got that beautiful Zabeel Centane blood. He is a great looking horse, so he will tidy up a lot of plain looking mares. There's been a few articles written over the last couple of months, should I say, about what type of mares, and he really will cover a large and go well over a large different type of mares.
Service fee of $4,000. How was that established?
I suppose what we wanted to put him at a level where we thought was going to be really good value for our clients. It was pretty straightforward. It was just setting him at a base level where he knew he had plenty of room to move. There's one thing, once he starts leaving horses on the ground, there's no limit on how high you can lift them, but we thought that we just wanted a good value where it was going to be, where our clients would get a bit of, hopefully get good bang out of their buck. The other thing that made it very easy is, as a result of owning with one other person, we didn't have a big syndicate where we had to negotiate with. We could sort of pretty comfortably say, look, this is where we expect him. Give him a nice sized book, and then the rest is up to him really.
He's Remarkable will be a welcome addition to New Zealand's stallion ranks. On another note, Kiwi Bred would like to congratulate Mark Corcoran and the team at Grange Williams Stud, with Survived bringing up Zed's first Group 1 victory as a sire. We feature the Group 1 McPhee Challenge Stakes winner as this week's Dunstan Pedigree of the Week.
Survived's win in last month's Group 1 McPhee Challenge Stakes at Hastings is one of those feel-good stories that revives the smaller breeders' faith in continuing to engender new generations of bloodstock. The John Barry-trained son of Zed, a remarkable story himself, was bred by Don Gordon, an 82-year-old who has bred thoroughbreds for nearly 60 years. Gordon has been breeding from Survive's family since the 1970s, when he purchased Pharamond mare Farino. He struck immediate success when he sent Farino to the stallion Great Wall to produce Mun Lee, the champion 3-year-old filly of her year and winner of 14 races, including the Waikato Sprint and Great Northern Oaks. Mun Lee's half-sister Secrecy by Grand Diplomat is Survived's Great Granddam. Survived's Dam Liberal by Generous only had 2 foals before she died in 2010, and Gordon has admitted he nearly didn't keep Survived when he was born, comparing his size at birth to a rabbit. Before his Group 1 McPhee Stakes win, Survived had won the Group 3 Manawatu Classic at Awapuni and Group 3 Hawke's Bay Gold Cup, before finishing second to subsequent Queensland Derby winner Hawkspur in the Group 3 Rough Habit Plate in Brisbane. Survived became the first Group 1 winner for Zabeel stallion Zed, who began his career standing for a booking fee of $500 at Little Avondale Stud, before he spent time serving Clydesdale mares at Erewhon Station in mid-Canterbury. Zed's racing career was cut short through injury, but he had breeding on his side as a son of Zabeel out of the Carter family's Group 1 winner Emerald Dream, herself a 3/4 sister to Dane Wynn. This week's Pedigree of the Week is proudly brought to you by Dunstan Horse Feeds.
Well, that brings an end to this week's show. Join us next week where we head to Windsor Park Stud to take a look at Coolmore Shuttle sire Rip Van Winkle. I look forward to your company then.